So then I got an opportunity to work for a startup in Atlanta. It was a tech company. And, you know, they were like, yeah, come down, check it out, it'll be awesome. So I go down there and I'm interviewing for this job, and, you know, this guy had mentioned that he had a cafe in Berkeley, and he's like, oh yeah, I've got this, you know, cafe in Berkeley, I'm not sure what we're gonna do with it, but, you know, it's just working, but it was a stepping stone for him, and he needed to move on to do something a little more fulfilling. And little did he know, I'd been dreaming of owning my own business for, you know, the last 5 years before that. What is it gonna be? Is it gonna be a food truck? I knew it was gonna be in service, like some sort of customer service, and an opportunity presented itself. I'd had opportunities present themselves in the past, but I hadn't gone after them. Well, when I finally found one that came up and was right in my face, I jumped on it. I got on a flight, flew to Berkeley, I checked out the cafe. It's like, you know, what is this? This is awesome. And it was a bohemian style cafe, just like any other cafe, coffee shop, served food, you know, cereal, weird stuff. And I just decided this is what I want to do. So packed up my car. I had about $300 in gas, which is like 3,000 miles. I don't know how I made it, but I made it from Indiana to California. I got on another flight. I flew back and drove another car out here. And I got to work. I started working 7 days a week, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Never worked in a coffee shop before. I never really worked in a restaurant. And, but I knew how to set up a team. I knew how to, you know, innovate and excite, you know, the team, keep them motivated. So I thought that would take me far enough. Well, it didn't. So there was a lot more I needed to learn. But a cool thing about that is I had an opportunity to learn in an environment where the liability wasn't all the way on me. Like all the pressure wasn't on me. I had someone else who was running the show. He was off site, but he was there if I needed him. And I was just waiting for shit to hit the fan. You know, like I don't know what's gonna happen. Like, are we gonna, you know, make enough money to survive this month, pay our bills, pay our vendors, you know, pay our employees? It was like that every single month. And we're just waiting, you know, for things to go wrong, and they never did. It just kept getting better. We got a better staff. We did some improvements to the space. We changed the menu, we changed the food. We did everything we could to make this a better environment. And luckily, it worked out. But I knew there was an end to it. And basically, we had a lease that was coming up. It said, hey, 2 years from now, you can't be here anymore. You know, that's how things work. You sign leases, and, you know, at the end of it, especially out here with the environment, like real estate environment, rents go up, and, you know, a lot of businesses aren't able to continue doing business. Well, luckily, there was a company that was buying the building that I was in, where my retail space is, and they wanted to make some changes. Well, luckily for them, I wanted to make some changes too. You know, I love this neighborhood that I'm in. I live there. You know, this is my block. It's my hood. It's my yeah. It's just a cool place to be for me. And I decided I want to stay here. I want to try to make an impact on this neighborhood. It needs cleaned up. It needs a place for people to gather and, you know, build community. And so I decided to work harder to make that dream continue. So is anyone interested in doing like any kind of retail brick and mortar business? Or is it all tech? Retail brick and mortar. What kind?
I'm actually, to be honest, like my idea was like to create a kind of personality moving into women.
Awesome.
But in order to find the niche in the market,
Yeah.
I thought of, you know, integrating this whole idea with a kind of a, you know, a restaurant, because I'm
Yeah.
all
Absolutely.
just it would be like, you know, giving them opportunities by making that work, and then, you know, I would make money by serving them the food.
Absolutely.
But, you know, integrate them all into the web platform.
Absolutely.
So
That's awesome. And that's thinking bigger. You know, it's like, it's not only, it's like two businesses in one, right?
yeah.
It's, yeah.
But I want to know, I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
because
Yeah.
it seems like very ordinary or usual because there are always like big competitors in the
Yeah.
market having lots of investment like Starbucks and
Absolutely.
all that. So I mean, when you actually thought of having your own
Yeah.
coffee business, how did you find the niche, first of all?
Absolutely.
And second thing is this, that, I mean, how you keep yourself motivated all the time,
Yeah.
given the fact that there are already big giants in the market.
Absolutely.
And you have to make your space and always be on your toes to
Yeah.
get something done.
Absolutely. I think the question is like, how are you going to, set yourself up being so small and independent to compete with, larger companies who have, the resources and the money and, the people. And I think number one, it's like if I wouldn't have started my coffee company if I had a place in my neighborhood that had good coffee, or in my city that had good coffee. And I think that was number one. It was like, there has to be a need for where you are. And luckily for me, like my need it was really just, it needed a community space in the neighborhood. But then my passion was coffee. So how could I blend the two? And having a community space is, a really important thing. Bigger than me, bigger than anyone. Like, so when you have your community space and you have your thing, just realize it's bigger than you. And you just have to work harder to make sure everything works out. But when it comes to competition, it's like you go to Starbucks. Some of you might be happy with Starbucks, but Starbucks is a coffee company. But they also do basically like milkshakes and fill it with other kinds of sugar and all kinds of awful things. Their business practices are cool. They do pretty good stuff for good people. They're the second largest coffee company in volume, and number one is a donut company, which is weird. You go back and forth. It's Dunkin' Donuts, one of the largest coffee companies there are, which is wild. But those people, like those companies, are so far out of my view. Like I don't even think of them. Like not even. It's like it'd be similar to like someone having a boutique clothing store, and then like comparing it to like the retail section at Walmart. Like there's such a major difference. And so competition on that level is like, I don't even think about it. Now, being in the SF Bay Area, there's competition that are literally my peers that have that money and have that experience and have those people who can, they have the resources basically. But still, I don't get a great cup of coffee at those places always. And that's what always drives me crazy is like, you'll see a coffee company, I won't name them, but they have a great team. They've got the resources, they have great equipment, they have, great distribution channels, and you try their coffee and it's not good. And I always try to figure out where in the chain does it go wrong. I can talk about coffee better than I can talk about anything else, but I won't bore you with a lot of it. But